And I think with that, I think we can get started. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, everybody. My name is April. I am your trusty customer success specialist. I'm sure you're very familiar with Eric, Erica, and myself. Your team, just to make sure that this is a seamless experience with you. And we want to just walk you through everything that you can expect in your virtual booth. So that is me, and I'm going to pass the virtual mic off to Erica and then to Eric to introduce themselves.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm sure I've been emailing with all of you already, and we're working on building out your booths, gearing up for this summit on this Thursday. And like April said, we're here to help out in any way we can. So please feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions. And I'll pass it over to Eric.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our training exercise today. I won't be saying too much. I'm sure it's going to be in the trusted hands of April and Erica today. So just wanted to thank you all for participating in the training. The more we get to know the system, the better and easier it is to operate. So they will take good care of you, and you guys will be professionals before you.
Thank you. And the only other thing that I would request is if everyone would please be so kind as to go on mute. I'm hearing some background noise, and it'll definitely make the training go a lot smoother. Thank you. I also included in the little chat a quick tech check. I would definitely recommend doing so before Thursday. It will check your internet speed, webcam, and so on and so forth, just to make sure that you're all good to go before Thursday. And also browser recommendations. We personally recommend Chrome and Firefox. They're going to be your top picks. Safari is not supported on the platform. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. And from there, I'm going to begin sharing my screen. So give me one moment. All right. So give me a heads up if you could see what I'm talking about.
Yep, I see your email.
Awesome, awesome. So most of you should have received this invitation to join your exhibitor portal. But for those of you where this does not seem familiar, I'm just going to walk you through the process. So I will send you this invitation. Once you click join portal.
We don't see your new screen yet.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it always does that. Teams is funny.
Okay, here we go. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
All right, so it'll take you to the next page. And from there, if you haven't signed up, it's fairly simple. Your email will be there. You choose a password. Have already, you click login and enter your password. Remember to click login twice, and it will take us to your homepage, the homepage of your portal. So for today, I'm just using, for this demonstration, I'm using one of our sponsor booths. So here we are. Here's the homepage of your portal. This is where you will see your sponsored sessions. It will show you a list of tasks. I wouldn't worry too much about that, as most of you have already submitted your tasks. And for those of you that haven't, Erica and I are here just to walk you through the process and make sure that you're all set up for Thursday. But we're going to go to the tasks portion of your portal now. So it has everything listed here. The product category, the best fits your company. So you can go from there. Remember to click it twice, and the list of suggestions will appear, and you'll be able to go from there. And once you do so, once you upload your submission, it alerts Erica and myself on our end, and then we upload it for you, and then we send you a preview of what your virtual booth looks like. So all of this information here, uploading your booth's banner image, your company description, submitting booth activities, raffles, and show specials. I actually have something exciting to show you guys in a few minutes regarding this. Your headshots, booth resources, to add to the content hub of your exhibitor portal. And then this portion, you don't have to worry so much about this. This was on your separate company profile page, but I would mainly focus on everything that is above. Next, we're going to your resources page. Now, this is where you'll be able to see everything that will help you leading up to Thursday and also going into November. So this is where you can access your exhibitor kit, all of our digital sustainability tips, best practices, a checklist for virtual exhibits, because we want to make sure that all of you are happy and taking care of yourself during this time, because virtual exhaustion is real. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. The quick tech check that I sent all of you in the chat a few minutes ago, an attendee troubleshooting guide, a third-party cookie guide. This I updated yesterday. This is a training video. So everything that we will be discussing in today's session, my coworkers did an amazing job of just walking you through the back end of your virtual booth, so you can refer to this whenever you have the time at your earliest convenience. And then finally, in regards to show specials, this is what I was referring to, the traffic driving ideas. And different things that Erica and our marketing team has worked together just to be able to drive more traffic to your booth and to just continue to garner excitement around your virtual booth. So you can look back to that whenever you have the time. And now here's your company profile. So as I mentioned, I'm using one of our sponsors' booths now. And so here's where you will see sponsor description. Here's the link that immediately takes the attendee to your virtual booth. It shows the virtual room once it's time for you to enter into your virtual room, this is where you will go. You go to company profile and enter virtual room. And from there, you will be in the back end of your booth. And then finally, the team portion. So this is where you will be able to add team members. So it's very, very simple. You just click add team members and you will invite them as admins, not as collaborators. You'll put their email in and it will send to them and they'll be able to be a part of the back-end experience. So I am actually going to go to our demo session. So give me just a moment and I will share this with you.
Hey, April, I have a quick question. This is Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, so the part you just talked about where you go to company profile, then you click enter virtual room. Is that where we go when we're staffing our virtual booth? Is that how we get into that?
So yes, so once you go into the virtual room, it brings you into the back end of your virtual.
Okay, and so that means that we can see, so we'll be there like at the booth, and then we can see as people are entering and engage with them,
Yes.
to have discussions, whatever. Okay, but that's what we do like during our little time slots that we're at the booth.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So once you're back there, you'll be able to see, and I'm going to show you the Q&A
Great.
portion, the chat portion. So yes, so give me just a second. Also, thank you, Jenny, by the way, for asking your question. If anyone else has any other questions, you can put it in the chat, and I will answer, or Erica will answer, or Eric, or you can speak out. This is why we're here. So give me just a moment, and I will head into the session. All right. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen. Give me one moment.
It's still loading.
Still loading? Okay, thank you, Erica. All right, and you'll see this as soon as you enter in, where you could set a recording duration. The only thing is that we ask is that, that if you do so, that if you do decide to record, that it would not be used for marketing purposes, as we want to make sure that we are honoring all of the participants and their privacy. So,
and one quick note, it takes about 3 minutes to start a recording. So if you do want to start something and record it, just be sure to start in a few minutes in advance of when you need to start speaking.
Awesome. Okay, so here we are. We are in the back end of your virtual booth. So once you go to company profile, you scroll down, you click enter virtual room. This is where it will take you. So you see this teal screen. This is what we call the presentation stage. So from the front end, which Erica and I will show you in a few minutes, this is what the attendee will see. And when you're speaking, when you go live, they will be able to see you speaking. So you go right here on the left-hand side and you click activate your webcam and microphone. See, my webcam is unavailable right now because I'm talking to you guys. But this is where you go to so that your attendees will be able to see you. And here is where you will click so that they can hear you. I'm going to not click it so that there isn't a double echo. But this is where you go so that you're live on the attendee side. You click live this way, and I should be able to, this is where you would be able to see me, but my camera is on. So all of that to say, you guys know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to unshare my screen actually so that you guys can see and get an actual picture of what it will look like. 1 second.
And a quick note to add. Anything that appears on your end in the back virtual room on this teal screen, like you see April right here in the center, that is how you know that it's appearing on the attendee side. So if your camera or if you're not appearing in that center screen, then that means that's not what's appearing on the attendee side. So just wanted to clarify.
Thank you, Erica. So this is where your attendees will be able to see you and you can communicate with them and talk with them. So I'm going to turn my camera off for the time being and turn off live so that we can continue on. And then Erica and I will show you in a few minutes, as I mentioned, what it will look like for attendees to be able to see on the front end. So now we're going to the files portion of it. So this is where you will be able to upload all of the files that you will need for your session in your virtual booth. So you upload them here. So you click add file. You could add a folder and it will upload, and then you click add to playlist or play. So I'm going to give you just a quick glimpse of what that looks like. And you will be able to have videos in your virtual booth. It makes it very, very interactive. See pictures. And so whatever you decide to do, this is literally, quite literally your oyster, and you can add whatever you feel will enhance the attendee experience. Next, we're going to apps. So this is actually one of my favorite portions of the virtual booth. This is where you could unleash creativity. This is your whiteboard. So attendees will be able to see whatever you decide to draw or whatever you decide to add to this whiteboard. And then if you want to clear it out, then you could just click clear all boards. Next, we're going to the desktop share. If you have, let's say, a YouTube video that you want to be able to share, this is where you would be able to do it so that attendees will be able to see on their end. And you can put the link there and show the YouTube link or what have you during your virtual session. This is the quiz portion, which I think is so much fun. You are able to create a quiz, put the question there, the answers. It can be multiple choice, multiple answers, open question, what have you. And then the results will appear on this portion of things. Next, we have the video library. So whatever videos are uploaded, they will be stored here. Finally, almost there. The recording session. This is what we talked about at the very beginning. And remember, as Erica mentioned, it'll take about 2 to 3 minutes before the recording begins if you decide that you would like to record your session. And then finally, we have the breakout session. So Erica is here as one of our participants. And so when all of your participants are a part of your session, you can drag and drop them. So I'm going to bring Erica to room number 1. And for this portion, we actually recommend that if you do decide to go out with the breakout, room option, that you have someone staying here. Actually, let me close out, that you have someone that is still here while everyone is in their breakout rooms. You maybe almost like a receptionist. I think that's the best way that I could describe it. Someone that can greet an attendee when they walk in if they're a few minutes late, and make them feel welcome, and then connect them with someone on your team to put them in a breakout room that best fits what they would like to talk about. So that is something that we highly recommend and suggest. It is entirely up to you. Again, it's what you want to do, but that's something that we found has worked for most of our sponsors. Now we're going to the chat.
Excuse me, April. Quick question from Jack here. So in the breakout rooms, can you have more than one person in a breakout room?
Yes, yes. I believe that we can have up to 10. Is that correct, Erica?
I believe it's 100 per breakout room.
Okay, awesome.
And,
well, that's even better than what I said.
And you have a maximum of 30 breakout rooms. And what some companies have done, like April noted, we have, similar to a live event, a receptionist or a host in the main room, and then your various sales team members in the different rooms already assigned. And then as attendees come in, that main host then says, welcome, are you interested in talking about flooring? And then they'll put them in the appropriate breakout room to have a one-on-one conversation with that sales team member. Or on the other hand, they also put all the sales team in that main room and has an order. So let's say the first person comes in, then, one of your sales team members, you create an order for them. They know, okay, I'm going to take this first person as they come in. The next person comes in, and the next person takes them to a breakout room. And if you do it in that format, and like April noted, just make sure to not leave the main room unattended. So if anybody does come in during that time, they're not greeted with the blank screen.
I have another question. This is Jenny again. So, if we're an association, so we've got sort of a different, we're not having salespeople and, talking about specific products necessarily. But so if we wanted to have conversations just in the main room, is that possible too, or do you have to go into a breakout room for a conversation?
No, you can absolutely have them in the main room. It works very similar to Zoom.
Okay.
It just everyone's either head, if they have their camera on, will pop up just like
Okay.
this, or their cutout image of a person.
So
and
if we have
speak in the main room if you'd like.
Okay, so if we have like this screen here, and we have maybe like two of people on our team staffing the booth, you can have both of our pictures up on this main room, and then as people come into the booth, they'll show up on this main room too, and we could just have a conversation there. Or if we need to break it up into, if there's like a lot of people coming in at the same time, for example, then we could break it up into different rooms. But and I'm thinking specifically for the summit on Thursday, that since that the time slots are very short, that the booth is open, and there's probably fewer participants than there will be at Greenbelt as a whole, so there may not be as heavy, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming there may not be as heavy a level of traffic on Thursday as there might be during the conference itself.
Yeah, we definitely, our summits are building up to the main event.
Right.
And do have less attendees than the main event, which was, planned. But we actually, from the first summit that we had about 2 weeks ago, we really had a great traction and a lot of visitors to our sponsor booths.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely make sure you have at least 2 people working the booth during those break times. Just in case there is a few people in there, you can pull somebody aside to have a private conversation, so you don't have to talk over each other.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then for those private conversations, that's when we use the breakout rooms.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So speaking of conversations, this is where we're, Jenny, perfect timing. This is where we're going into the Q&A portion. So this is the chat portion, if you could see right here on the right-hand side of my screen. So in the room chat portion or feature, this is where everybody can see the speakers, moderators, the attendees. Hi, Erica. So you see Erica is, is a participant for this session. And so this is where participants can communicate. Let's say someone is shy, they don't really want to get on camera, they can ask their question here. Then there's the Q&A feature where an attendee or someone can ask their question right here, and only you as the speaker or the moderator can see their question and answer that attendee's question. That way, if they don't want to ask it in the room chat, if they're shy or what have you, they can ask it right here. And then finally, there's the moderator chat. So I was testing it out yesterday. And this is where only you and your team can communicate with each other. And someone can say, all right, let's talk about this next. And you can strategize and plan together. And so I think again, all of this is working towards having a seamless experience. And so I think this chat feature will be incredibly helpful to all of you. Now we're going to the playlist side. So as I mentioned, this is where you can upload videos, you can upload pictures, and this is where it will be once you upload everything that you would like in your virtual booth through the files portion, then this is where it will appear. Now, something very important to note for this side of things is that, let's say you need to step away. Let's say you got to use the bathroom, you have to walk the dog, you have a phone call, or you just need a break. As I mentioned, virtual exhaustion is a very real thing. And we as a team, we care about all of our clients, and we want to make sure that that it's an incredible experience for you. So one thing that we do recommend is that you have a holding slide here. That says something along the lines of out to walk the dog. If you come in and we're not here, be sure to email us at such and such email, or call us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like whatever number you and your team deem is best to be the contact number. That is something that we highly, highly recommend, because we don't expect you to sit at your laptop for hours on end. Truthfully, we would like for you to be there for each summit. We have the first hour in the morning, and then 3 half breaks that we're calling expo hall hours, which we're suggesting that you should have representation in. It's not required, but it is a very strong suggestion. And if you don't have anyone available, again, we just recommend that you put a holding slide, and it will display that instead of a gray box that you will see on the attendee side.
And I wanted to add a quick note to that as well. And April, I'm sorry if you said it as well.
Okay.
But during the non-expo floor hours, so when conferences are taking place, attendees can still access the expo hall floor if they so chose. So we recommend that holding slide be up during those times as well. If you're not choosing to staff the booth then, which obviously traffic is anticipated to be low during conference sessions, so you don't need to staff the booth at that time. But if there is a holding slide up, that will definitely, allow somebody who does explore during conference sessions to reach out to you if they wanted to. And just make sure you keep your browser open. And if you shut your browser with that holding slide, then it will go back to the gray screen. But if you accidentally shut it, no worries. You can just log back in and pull it back up, and just takes a couple seconds.
Thank you, Erica. And then finally, we're getting to the notes portion, where if there are any notes that you would like to add, this is the place to do so. You just click the little plus sign and you add in whatever notes that you feel are necessary to enhance your virtual booth or what have you, discussions. So this is the place to go. And so now, I actually see a question. Let me see. Give me one moment. Okay, thank you, Erica. I think you're answering the question. Thank you. And so, Eric, as soon as you're done, if you wouldn't mind taking us to the front end.
Quick question, April.
Sure.
Jack here. Question about this note section. Is this like private notes that we just make for our colleagues about, hey, so-and-so came in and they'd like someone to call them about XYZ? Or is this notes that all the people that enter the booth see?
Erica, do you know the answer to this?
So it's private notes. The main reason why this notes field was here, because this is the same back end of the system that a session would use. So if a speaker had notes, that's what the intention was of that section. But if you want to leave notes for your various team members, you're more than welcome to do so. It will be private. If you click this button that says broadcast note, that will then display it on the main screen that attendees would see.
Okay, so if you were going to say, gone to get water, be back in 5 minutes, a broadcast note, that anyone entering the booth would see that?
Yes.
And that's different than having a page, as you mentioned, that you would list just as a placeholder page so the screen's not blank when people
Yep.
enter.
So yeah, it's essentially just various options. If you did want to have, a branded page appear, you just add it to your playlist, and then when you're ready to use it, you just click into the playlist and it'll, pop up on the main screen. Or if you wanted to just do it as a note, it will, but it'll just be like a simple white background with text. It won't be, branded.
Okay. And when people enter the booth on their own,
Mhm.
say that we're not there for some reason, can they see on their side the little videos and the little brochures and keep themselves entertained?
Yep. So there's actually two different portions, so to speak. So, and I could show you in a second. On the front end of the booth, we have a section at the bottom of each booth that says Content Hub, and that is additional resources, materials, essentially brochures, videos, any files that you have that are there available for attendees 24/7. So if you have somebody in Europe that logs in the middle of the night on the East Coast hours, they can still reference all of those materials. You don't have to be logged in on the back end. And those are the materials that you submit to myself in April during the task submission. But then this broadcast screen is slightly different, where if you did want to display something in this screen, you would have to upload it yourself. It would not be part of the submission process to April and I. And then if you wanted it displayed on screen, then you would have to make it live. It's not something that an attendee could poke around and entertain themselves with in this section, if that makes sense.
So, sorry, this is Kimberly, and I just wanted to tack on to that question because I think I was confused about the same thing. So, what we had submitted via like the Jot form portal is what is like kind of considered the booth content when it's not show or booth staffing hours or expo hours, correct?
Yes. So then that will show during expo hours as well. It's pretty much there 24/7.
Okay, but then during the time where booths should be staffed expo hours, we should be, if we want to upload the same content in this frame so that if people are coming here directly to engage with us kind of live, they can still see the same information. Is that a suggested best practice?
Yep. You can do it that way, or you can put different information here. If you had something that you wanted to explain, you didn't want somebody to just be able to see and not know really what it was, you can always have something in this section where you show it and then you can explain and you're there to talk more about it and
I see.
provide more detail.
So in our example, if we're talking about a new product and we're going to have our product managers kind of in the booth to help answer any questions, we will have some of those materials made available through this frame so that if an attendee comes into the booth to ask more specific questions, then we can engage with them live here, separate from what they may have viewed kind of in the static content elsewhere. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
And real quick, Jennifer, your question about the sponsored session. The sponsored sessions are separate from the booth. Can you give me a little bit more background information on what you were looking for to do? Or you might be on mute. Okay, well, I'll reach out. We can always
reach out. Sorry. Sorry, I was doubly muted. So when I log into our portal on the homepage under sponsored sessions, there's an existing, something is populated there. It says virtual booth STO building group, which is our company. And it's got the date, Thursday, October 1st, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for 10 hours. And then it has a speaker associated with it. And we don't know where that came from.
So that essentially is because on the back end, your booths are in the world of this virtual environment. Your booths are the same thing as sessions. Their terminology doesn't change to saying an exhibitor. So on the back end, your virtual booth STO session is your actual booth. And we have a section on the front end that says speakers and staff. And that's where we upload all of your booth staff headshots. and their titles and contact information. But just on the back end, it says speakers because they live in the world of sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what's interesting is there's only a singular speaker there when we have at least 5 people in the booth. And so I just wasn't sure how that ended up getting populated and how we change it.
Okay. We can connect afterwards and sort it out.
Sure.
I think I know exactly what's going on. Great.
Thanks, everyone. There is one more quick thing that I wanted to add before Eric and I show you what it's like for your attendees. So full disclosure, everyone, I am like a squirrel where I get very easily distracted. So if you are like me, God forbid, if you want to click out of certain things, that is also something that you can do. And, just so as not to keep your page as cluttered, and you can actually make room for the full playlist or what video or what have you. But that is also something that you can do at will, and whatever you need just to further walk you through speaking with attendees and enhancing your virtual booth. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that you can add and remove as you please. And now we're going to go to the front end. So Erica, if you would please do the honors.
Sure. I'll be sharing my screen.
Okay, let me unshare.
All right. Can you confirm that you see my screen, April?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, so this is right now what you're looking at is the front end of a booth. This is our demo booth, so we do not have our branding background banner, but this is for the most part what the overall layout is for a booth. And here you'll see when I enter the booth, this is what the broadcast screen looks like. So on the back end that April was showing, anything that she had going there is now appearing on my front end in this format. So if it was your picture, if you were on camera, you would be appearing right here. And as an attendee, and April's switching the views, which are great. She has a quiz up, so I'll actually click. So if you do have a quiz up in your booth, the attendee would hit start, and then they can interact with the screen however they so chose, if it was this quiz. But then, so what the attendee would do, if they would like to speak with you guys, either verbally or on camera, they'll have to unclick their microphone and camera. And this is going to be the same for the attendee experience for every session, every booth. So we do communicate it in all of our attendee communications that in order to interact with anybody, you have to activate your camera and microphone. If they want to, type and chat with you, they again would do so here in the chat box. And they can hover over this section and they would see that this is a room chat, the first option. And the second option is a Q&A, which again would just be if they wanted to send a question to you directly without having the rest of the attendees in the room see. If they wanted to raise their hand to ask a question, for some reason, let's say they couldn't get their mic or camera to work, or if they, joined the room and they didn't want to interrupt the conversation because they might have heard a bunch of other people speaking, they can always raise their hand. And on the back end, there will be like a red alert on your side that shows that somebody's raised their hand. So then you can, either speak or message that participant through the chat. If you see something. If the participant wants to do a full screen mode, they can click here. And if they want to leave the session, they can do so by clicking here. But most attendees will really just either hit their back button on their browser or close out of the window if they wanted to leave the booth. And then as they go through the booth, this is the speaker and staff section where there's headshots and contact information. And then right below this section in our demo, it's not showing, but there is where your additional content would be, all of like the PDFs or video files, etc., that you've submitted. So this is what the overall layout of the booth is and the front end attendee view. April, do you want to go on camera?
I had a quick question, if I could, Erica, too.
Yeah.
Jack here. When you mentioned, say, as an example, when April was running that poll, so if she has the poll up for everybody, as each person comes in, do they start it individually for themselves? Or is one person kind of taking it for the whole booth?
Nope, so everybody can take it individually. But just note the poll is only going to be visible when you have it open on your back end If you take it down from the back end, then it will not be visible on the front.
An example, if you wanted everybody that comes to the booth to say, take this poll or something, then you just kind of leave it up all the time. And if you had 50 people in the booth at the same time, they're all kind of doing the poll individually themselves.
Yes, that's correct. And then on the back end, in that apps section where it says polls, you again can see the results. You can see who's answered how, etc.
And we didn't talk about it in the back end, but is there a way to see who all came to the booth? So if you wanted to follow up with them afterwards or something, do you know their email address or their name or anything like that?
What we do is it's actually some internal reporting that myself and April pull for you. And so then post-event, so it'll be after this coming summit and then the next summit and the main event, we will be sending, or Eric will be sending the report of everybody that's entered your booth. It is timestamped so you can see when they entered. You'll have their name, email, and all that kind of good information. So you will be able to follow up with them. And anybody that has entered your booth, we do follow GDPR regulations. If they have chosen to opt out, we will take care of hiding their name for you. You will not have to worry about that. But you will still see that somebody from, this company showed interest, but you just won't have their contact information.
Okay.
So there is no concern on your end about having to reach out to everybody. It's all perfectly legal.
Okay, so everybody, we all have an email address. They're contactable, and if we don't, then we know they opted out.
Yep, that's correct.
Rick, I just saw your question and I responded to it, but just so that everyone else here is aware, there will be additional trainings each week. So this is the first week, and then going forward every week leading up to the summit, I will send out a link with the meeting invite so that you can join when you can. It will be on the same day at the same time every single week until the conference in November. And it's entirely up to you, entirely optional, but I will be there and ready to answer any questions that you have, because I want to make sure that we want to make sure as a team that all of you feel fully prepared, not only for the summits, but also for the conference itself. So I will be sending out more information regarding that later on this week, for sure. So
And
now,
sorry, I was going to say, if you need one-on-one training, we're also available. I know some people have a lot of booth staff joining, so as your logistics contacts, sometimes it might be hard to schedule everybody from your booth to get trained. So we're always happy to arrange something custom for you as well, if needed.
yes, 100% agree with that. So Eric, I'm going to go live now so that you can see.
Oh, sure.
Let me know if it comes up for you. In 1 second. Hi, can you see me?
Yep. So, and just so everybody can see, right down here, April is still presenting a video. So at the same time that you have a video or a slide or any content up, you can also have yourself on camera here. April, do you want to close the video and show what it's like full screen?
Of course. Give me 1 moment.
Is that what would happen also if the poll were up?
Yes. So you can also have your image at the bottom and speaking with people and have the poll above it, just like that layout was. And then this is, if you did not have any content up and you were just fully on camera, this is what it would be like. And if you had more than one person working the booth staff, the back end of the system, you will just line up in tiles, just like you would for a Zoom or Teams call.
Okay,
Great.
perfect. Also, something just to note, if you could see right above the teal screen, from what attendees can see, where it says conference session, Green Business Summit, this is where your product categories will go. I'm not sure if we mentioned that earlier, but I just wanted to point that out. And an attendee will be able to, I know that those actually aren't product categories, but there will be, you will have the option to be able to choose the product categories that best fit your company, and the attendee will be able to, let's say they're looking for someone that is in flooring and that is something that your company does, they'll be able to find you using the product categories that you chose.
Yeah. And then I just want to make 2 more notes real quick. Everybody here is participating in the next summit. After that summit concludes, if you did want to change any of the resources that you had available, the ones that are static, they're 24/7, or your booth staff, etc., please just reach out to April and I. We can make any edits for you between the summits and the main event. And then during the actual event day, if you have any problems or questions or need an edit, please again reach out to April or myself. We can make edits pretty quickly on our end if needed. And also, the last thing I wanted to mention is post-event, attendees would still see this. This box turns to a gray box post-event. So to avoid that, we are asking as part of your submission links for a video, and we will upload it on our end, not something that you have to upload through your virtual room, but we'll upload it video for you. So when attendees do click into this booth post-event, they will have some, branding and activation to view. In addition to the other content that is available.
Awesome. So I wanted to open up the floor and see if anyone has any questions, if there's anything that you want us to go back over. You can type it into the chat or you can ask whatever questions that you might have. We're here to answer them.
Jack here. I did have a quick question. I noticed on the back end, you showed there was a place where you can share your screen.
Yeah.
So as a person working the booth or something, if you just feel more comfortable getting to whatever resources you might want to show somebody, like a PDF brochure, or like you said, play a YouTube video or something, that does the entire teal thing become your screen that you're sharing? Is that how that would work?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I would recommend, just because of internet speeds and technology, there's always glitch. So if you do have the materials available, it's definitely recommended to upload them and add them to your playlist. That will ensure much better viewer experience. But I'm not saying the screen share is bad by any means. It's
I
just
see. It's on your platform, so they'll get it at the same speed we see it at.
Yes.
I see what you
much
mean.
better.
Okay.
Experience.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions?
This is Rick. I do have one more question for you.
Sure.
Does each breakout room have the ability to upload different content?
Yes. Oh, sorry, Erica.
I was going to say, it's all, you upload everything to the same files from that main room, and then each breakout room can access that overall files or playlist tab.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just checking.
Yep. I actually saw a question in the chat from Jennifer. There is no limit to the number of admins that you can invite to the back end of your portal.
Thanks, Erica. I'll let Jen know.
Okay, great.
And Jack here again, sorry. Speaking of those breakout rooms, I know you said there's 30 rooms or something. Odds are we'd probably just use a few of them. Is it easy to tell like which rooms are full of people or how many people are in each room if you were trying to, say, be a receptionist and stagger them?
Yep. April, do you want to share the back end of your screen again?
Of course. Give me one moment.
So whomever on your team is, you're designating as the person dropping everyone into breakout rooms, or if everyone's just, operating it independently, you will see the list under each breakout room of the names of the person or the various people that are in each room. So you can see if a room has 5 people or 2 or empty, etc.
I see. So you'll see the host person in there, the admin person in there, as well as any participants.
Yes.
And did you state, I forget what you said, how many people can be in a breakout room at any time?
100.
Like it's pretty large, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So this is right here where you can, again, drag and drop your participants, and whoever is working on the back end alongside you will be able to see which rooms are full and where would be the best fit for the attendee that strolled in and what they might want to discuss with members of your team.
Can you mentioned too, but obviously you had the first summit earlier this month. Can you kind of give us a sense for like what the booth traffic was like? How were people, was there a lot of visitors? Were booths pretty crowded? I mean, I'm just kind of curious as to what we might be able to expect on Thursday.
Eric, I know Eric is a little bit more familiar with how the flow and the analytics went. Do you want to chat a little bit about that?
Yeah, we actually had some pretty good traffic throughout those break times. So in between conference sessions, and some of the sponsors were, I think they had 50 leads at, anywhere between 30 and 50 leads during those times where the attendees were actually going in and having conversations and in different engagements with our sponsors. So I think we had over 500 people attend the session or the summit itself, which is really good because traditionally we were averaging around 250 to 300 in the in-person summit.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to attend virtually.
No travel restrictions. So yeah, so we had, there was different levels of engagement that the attendees were involved with, and the duration of time spent in the booth is also part of that analytics report that you'll get. So you'll know how long somebody spent in your booth, whether or not they came in just to check out some resources or whether or not they came in to have conversations. You'll be able to determine that by the duration spent within your space.
Right, because people can come into the booth and not interact with you. They can just look at your materials, and certainly some people just want to do that.
Yeah, and they come in at all times.
Yeah.
That timestamps will indicate, okay, yeah, maybe there was a session going on, but you had 3 or 4 people in your booth at that time. And as a reminder, our expo hall only passes will also have access during this time as well. So in the event that they aren't there for the education, they're just there to explore the expo hall, you may get some of those. And that's why Erica and April were encouraging you to have something on your screen at all times, even when you're not seeing it.
Yeah, and I sort of have a feeling for us, we'll probably be doing a little bit of troubleshooting after Thursday to kind of, see what worked well and what we will need to tweak for the main conference session. So I appreciate that you all are doing these trainings, weekly until the conference takes place, because I'm sure there will be more questions and opportunities that we'd like to raise with you all. And I know just, we're still in the process of populating some of our booth content. So I know my colleague, China Pitkins, has been our, point person here. So I think, she'll probably be reaching out to some of you by email directly to provide some content, if there's issues with us getting the stuff on our booth ourselves. Is that all right?
Yep. So just to make note, when you submit the content, it actually comes to April and myself.
Okay.
It doesn't automatically update the booth.
Oh, okay,
so
got it.
When you submit it, it comes to us, we save it, and then we actually physically upload it, and then we'll send you a preview link so you can see the progress or see what we've done to make, work with us back and forth for any edits.
Okay.
And yeah, from the back end, there's no way, unless you click the preview link, there's no way to actually see the front end. So during the live event, you can be logged into both the back end and the front end at the same time. So you can have the attendee experience as well as the exhibitor experience. Just be cautious if you are logged into the back end of your booth and the front end at the same time. The sound will echo if you're speaking through your computer. So you might not want to be logged into the front end of your booth if you are speaking on the back end.
Okay.
April, and you're mute.
I hate when that happens. Okay, Jenny, I just wanted to make a quick note that in China, I see you, that you're still here on this call, that you uploaded some headshots. So I actually sent over a preview of your virtual booth to Kelly and to Todd earlier today with your headshots, as well as what has been submitted for the Content Hub portion of your virtual booth. So I'd be happy just to send that over to both of you as well, just for you to take a quick peek and see how it looks to you so far.
Yeah, Todd did share that with us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I think we have some more content files. I think we just have 3 in there right now of documents and PDFs and such. So I think we have more that China will be loading up, and we still have to get, our banner up and stuff. So there's a couple other things that are on the way.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And I see 2 hands raised. I know we only have a few more minutes, but Kimberly, did you have a question?
I did. Thank you. And thank you guys again. I think echoing everybody, you both have just been so extremely helpful through all of this. So thank you. And apologies for all of my questions. But as far as booth staffers and registrations go, so I had submitted through the Jot form portal a few colleagues of mine, but as I'm now looking in the back end of like the team, I'm not seeing them there. So should I add them there? And is that how they will get their direct emails to like get the links to access the portal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
great.
correct. So there's essentially 3 places that you have to add your booth staff. One is through the headshot submission, and that is literally just for the design. So when we build out your booth, that only goes for design purposes. And then the second portion is for your booth staff to access the back end. And like Kimberly, you just said, that's how you would, you go into your portal and you click Teams, and you would add whatever staff you want to that section, and they'll get that invite to set up an account, and they'll be able to log in. And then our regular registration, where you all have comp passes for all access and booth staff passes. You also need to enter your booth staff and register them through regular registration, so they can also see the event as an attendee side of it. And once they register through the front end as an attendee with your comp codes, they'll receive an email leading up to the event from our marketing team with login instructions for that day of to view it as an attendee. The back end and front end don't speak to each other, so that's why it's duplicated there.
So for the purposes of this Thursday summit, if I'm having a few people staff it and I just add them in the team today, they'll get their like links before Thursday, you think?
Yeah, they should get it pretty much instantly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And Kimberly, if you do have any issues, we're here. So you can either email or call the day of. Eric, I believe you're sending out your contact information and mine. Yeah. So you can call us. We are here for you. So I see 2 more hands up. Jack, I believe that you were second person.
Sure, just real quickly. When we are staffing the booth and someone's in the booth, but they don't unmicrophone themselves or, video or microphone, turn those on, is there a way that we know someone's in the booth?
Yes. April, do you want to share your back end real quick?
Yes.
So while she's pulling that up, on the back end of the screen, you will see on the top right the participant list.
Yes.
And if you are a booth staff member, you will have a green star next to your name, and that means that you're essentially staff.
Like April.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm logged in on the front end right now, so I'm showing up as an attendee, so I don't have the star. And if I activate my mic and camera, I can't do it because I'm on this camera. But if right now you can see my mic activated, if April on the back end, so you would do this as well, click live, now I can speak with you. And I will appear here.
Okay.
So that is how you see if somebody joins. And there are, I know like we mentioned before, people who do just join, and you'll see them pop up on the participant list, but they're just there to look at your resources or even maybe just use chat and they don't want to go on camera and mic.
Okay. So I was kind of wondering, like you see someone there, they haven't said anything, maybe they don't understand the technology. Is it bad form to just like live them or unmic them and say, hi, can I help you? Or should we kind of let them alone?
So they can hear you. They have to unmic themselves. So they'll always be able to hear you. So as long as their overall computer's not muted. But if somebody does come in and they're not, activating their camera and mic, you can put in your chat window a welcome message, or you can just verbally say, hi, welcome. If you'd like to speak with me, please unmute your microphone.
Okay.
And that's
Good point. Thanks.
You're welcome. I think Todd had a question next.
Hey, just really quick, do you have a sense, whether it's for the panels or for the booth space, what audio sounds best? Is it best over a phone line? Is it best over a computer? If it is the internet, is it best with the headset, or is it fine to just use the computer mics?
So there is no dial-in number, so we can't do a phone line. But I found just personal use, a headset works best just because I have a noise canceling headset, so it kind of makes the sound around me quieter. But you can, the computer, mic works perfectly fine as well.
Okay, thanks.
Does anyone have any further questions? Going once, going twice. Class dismissed. Well, everyone, it has been so awesome hanging out with you this afternoon. Again, Eric, Erica, myself, we are here for you. If you have any questions, you can call us call me, whatever, the day of the summit, leading up to the summit. We are here again, just to make sure that it is an enjoyable and seamless experience for you. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I will be having weekly trainings, so keep an eye out for your email. I will be sending over just all of the information in regards to that, so that you can join whenever you can, whenever time permits. And I'm looking forward to Thursday. It's going to be awesome, guys. So
Thank you so much.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Eric and April.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.